5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining.
For our final series.
5 seconds remaining.
It's MLP Donor and John Expired. John, welcome back, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Mike. It's been a long day. Today we've had quite long games, but we reached the end. Geek fam, they kind of break the curse. You know, they didn't 0-2 the last series. They do get a draw. We'll see if they can win out this time, or if Execration can bring them a fight. Of course, the last time these teams have met was quite some time ago, way back in 2019. I'm sure they must have met each other in some closed quals, but it is a bit back and forth, at least historically. None of these games are recent, though, so I'd consider this a fresh slate for both sides. We'll see what exactly both sides do bring out here.
I find it quite interesting that Execration actually first banned out the clockwork. Geek fan first banned it up against Execration. Last game around, they weren't banning it at all up against Team 1, who liked to run it. I can't remember Execration in particular enjoying too much, but
no.
For Geek fan, they just don't want to have to deal with it again. It was maybe too much of an issue from the last series. And I really thought that clock was quite devastating. But
10 seconds
one
remaining.
more ban, we'll get to see where the drafts are going to go.
Team pick.
Execration, they haven't looked too bad through this group stage thus far. Kind of in the middle. They'd love to try and pull off a big win up against a team like Geek Fan, who are in the upper half of the group stage at the moment. Execration currently, I believe, sitting in 7th spot.
Yep, that they are. They've gotten 1 win and 3 losses, so kind of puts them right above the lowest point. Still want to claw their way up, so you know they've gotta win. You're running out of group stage games. They do start. Geek Fam, they open with the DK. We've seen this pick multiple times already. You know, the DK is just flexible, can go mid, can go off. And it doesn't constrain you to any sort of strat in your draft. You've got great push with a hero once you hit 6. It's a very balanced opener for Geek Fam.
I love the DK. I think every time the DK is available, you just take it. Just pick it. It's just so strong right now. Like every game we see the DK in, you get 2 braces, you get some treads, and then you get a blink dagger. You might have the soul ring as well. And that's pretty much it. You're ready to go. Later on, you'll buy a BKB. You know, maybe if it goes super late, you'll buy an Aghanim Scepter. That's really it. It's a very, very simple kind of hero to play, but it's just very effective. Of course, Execration, understanding how much of a pain this DK can be, we'll go ahead and first pick the AA, which will have the natural counter with the Ice Blast. No matter what they go up next, it'll be the Morph. Okay.
I mean, yeah, they already have the AA on their side. You might as well go for that Morph. Have a lot of value there. Fam can kind of draft around that. Go for a hero that does build the Spirit Vessel. That's what we tend to see up against that Morph. You do have the option for the Ember Spirit. And again, we've seen Carl play it really well. Raven could play it as well. So that option still standing there for Geek Fam. Would probably not want to pick that here though, as that will lock them into 2 cores. Really don't want to put yourself in that situation, so go ahead and pick up the NP. that does
Radiant
have
team
flexibility here as well. Like, we have seen it off, we've seen it mid, we've seen it on support. So Geek Fam have pretty open draft. I'd say it's more than likely going to be core though, considering just how much more often we've seen that core NP nowadays, especially down mid. We'll see if that's the case for Geek Fam. If that is going to be mid, that's already Carl and Cuckoo's hero in.
10 seconds
so
remaining.
I don't think you want to lock yourself in there. Probably just play with the
5
flexibility a
seconds
bit.
remaining.
Yeah, they definitely will, but I do believe that is both cores. You know,
Radiant
like we
team
haven't
pick.
seen the support Nature's Prophet in quite a bit now.
Yeah.
No teams wanting to pick up that support Prophet. They always want to run the core Prophet. We have seen a lot of Cuckoo Dragon Knight. We've seen a lot of the mid Prophet coming out from multiple teams, including Geek Fam. So it wouldn't shock me too much at all to see it being another mid Prophet. That has been the trend over today.
10 seconds
Execration,
remaining.
seeing that Prophet now, how do you want to deal with it? You don't have
5
that block work,
seconds
so you
remaining.
don't have an easy kind of hook shot into the Prophet. You won't have the Earthshaker either, which most teams enjoy running up against that Prophet. You always want something to try and catch him out during those team fights. Just, he's not hard to take out, but he does a lot of damage. That's the real problem there, right? So you just need to deal with him during these engagements, and
Dire
once
team
you've
pick.
broken the gap, he's pretty easy to go down and work.
Yeah,
Radiant
it's a solid
team
pick. Great control. The X is gonna a lot harder for the NP to run out, so you have great control. The durability for the Morphling is great as well. I think that's really the key point. You've got the team fight building up with your AA. Look pretty nice for Execration. Geek Fam though, they pick up the Bane. This is a great way to handle that Morphling. Just once you have an Aether Lens, when you have your 15 talent, you
seconds
cast from a
remaining.
mile away, just Fiend Script that Morph. He can't react.
5 seconds remaining.
True. See if they can get to that point where they actually get the Aether Lens up. They get those range talents up on the Bane where he can just do it from a mile away. Execration now to make their 4th pickup. They are still looking for a position 4 pick. Again, those very popular plus 4s have already been removed, but you can go for something like the Tusk if you do want. That's been quite popular as well and has been very, very effective.
Yeah, I think that combination does work out nicely because you can save the Morph if he does get Fiend Script, right? You just snowball and that's it. So it's a good counter pick in that sense if Execration wanted it. I think the aggression you can get with an AA Tusk is pretty darn good as well. The rotation potential is strong, so it allows that faster pace for Execration if they were looking for it.
Yeah.
And we'll just wait and see what they opt for. Really
Dire
digging
team
into the
pick.
reserve time.
Nirana.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, so this is one that popped up a couple times. What was it, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
And then it kind of disappeared again. It showed up in the middle and then just went off. Nobody kept picking it. Now it's back. I still think the Mirana's a very potent pulse 4 to have in this current meta. You do have the
10
X set up there
seconds
as well, so
remaining.
you can X into the arrow, which is quite nice.
5 seconds
Whether it'll pay
remaining.
off though is a different story, right? Because it's not really the most guaranteed way to shut down the Bane. Like, you can arrow while the Fiend Script's going on, but it's a bit harder than that. You know, generally there's a lot of chaos going on. You may have already used the arrow. Sure, you can buy something like the Dual
Radiant
Scepter on the
team
Mirana.
back.
Maybe that's what will he come out. Geek Fam, they'll go into the Pangolier now. So, is that a support Pango? Is that a core Pango? Is this a safe lane DK now? It's all up in the air.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think I have a feeling that's going to be a Zephyr Pangolier. I think he
10
has played
seconds
that
remaining.
here on the 4 before, so I wouldn't
5
be
seconds
too concerned if it
remaining.
was him there. I don't know about
Dire
that
team
NPS
back.
support again. As you mentioned, it's just not been popular in that position. So if there was something, I think the Pangolier has been in the support much more, which is nice. Great damage, great initiation. Does give Geek Fam some team fight as well. The disarm can make it hard for the Morphling, so you do have that going for yourself. And it's a very slippery hero, so now you've got to
10
consider,
seconds
would you
remaining.
really want to X-Mark and combo? Because you don't have the most stable
5
stunts to
seconds
actually keep the
remaining.
Pangolier down.
No, they don't have the Grimstroke there either, just the Soulbind during the Rolling Thunder. You don't have anything to do with him. Geek Bam gonna have pretty much a free Pango game. Should be anyway. They could still leave their Pos 4 pick to the last pick though. Because you could run the mid-profit, the off-lane Pango and the safe-lane DK. That could be what they're up to.
That's
but
fair.
now Execration seem to assume that they still need that Pos 1, so they ban out the Ursa. Fair enough, the Ursa has been very, very popular as well over the past few days. Just feels like every second game we see an Ursa popping up.
Yeah, it's hard to deal with. I mean, with a early Battle Fury, you just farm out of control. So I don't mind that option being taken out. A lot of teams have been effective with it. Just gets a bit too much space, and the timer is most certainly earlier than Morphling. So just take that out. You don't want Geek Fam to have access to a very fast core, because you will have to buy space for the morph. You know, it will take time to farm up. Just the nature of the hero as it is.
It's the funny thing though, the Ursa does come up online faster, but then we're seeing basically every game with an Ursa ending up in a Battle Fury build, which kind of slows things down a bit, but they still manage to carry throughout the late game anyway. So once you have the Abyssal up, it's just kind of broken.
Yeah.
It's like Geek Bam, they'll ban out the LC now. Nothing bad to make, but I guess the press the attack up against the Bane is quite nice.
Luna.
Ooh.
Oh! Okay, the Luna comes down. And someone's very happy about that.
That's gonna be interesting to see. We've seen this a couple of times. I think it actually was Miracle playing that Pos 1 Luna. Of course, you have the option for it in the 4, although it gets a bit weird with all your position 4 flex picks. More than likely, it's just gonna be the Raven hero. So the question now for Geek Fam is, what do you build? Do you go for the magic build? Do you go for the physical build? We've seen kind of a split between both the few times you've seen that in the Pos 1. So we'll see what the emphasis here is for Geek Fam. I think you will probably just want to go for the physical build just for scalability, but if you really want to play fast, it's the Ags. It's just that when you're tied to the Ags, you're tied to the cooldown of Eclipse, so there's a timer there you have to be aware of, and we've seen teams falter with maximizing that or just miss out in key moments because they don't have a spell. So again, it's down to Geek Fam as to how they want to play, but this lineup is pretty potent. Like, it pushes fast. Luna is just a tower melter. So is the DK and the NP. So I think the key thing here is push objectives fast and early. Your DK's ult and try to shut down the map fast. Execration, they close out with Ascent. So a very durable frontliner to get the control out for them. And I think it balances their draft nicely. It gives them another piece of control now, for sure. And it does look like, yeah, Cuckoo on the offlane NP. It's going to be Carl on the DK and Luna being played by Raven. So not too strange. I think this is much more favorable for Geek Fam if they play fast. If Execration can stall it out, then the Morphling can take over.
I do like that Centaur finish though. Like, the Luna does anything to the Centaur.
No.
Especially if you get on top of... If BHM can break the gap with Raven and get the hoof stomp off, he's going to get so much damage out onto Raven, because that Luna just is so squishy. That mount, by the way, that Raven's on, really cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There are like a million mounts for Luna. All of them are pretty sick. We can...
No, they're not, John. This one's pretty sick.
I think the only one I hate from Luna is like that owl. You know, that owl which is there for Mirana as well. I just hate it. It's like, it's an owl cat thing it's just so... I don't like seeing it. I don't like that it exists. And I think if you use that, then, well, you might reconsider your tastes in cosmetics. But if it's the only one you have, hey, well, you gotta show off something, I guess.
Yeah. Get into the game number 1 between Execration and Geek Fam. Came off a draw against T1. They're all warmed up right now, right? They're ready to go. Their things are warm.
Prepare for battle.
Execration, first series of the day, really the only series of the day.
You You have learned
Yeah.
nothing.
That's go into it, be Geek Fam when they're ready to go. Could be a bit challenging.
We are seeing the mid morphling this time, not the mid Kunkka. So it's gonna be Palace up here to face up against Carl's DK, and
Again, Carl is very confused. Why him? We'll just hide. I don't blame him. These bounties have been pretty on point. Like, I feel like 90% of the time these bounties are placed, that person goes down. Now there's a second bounty. Are you able to translate, sir?
30 seconds.
No,
to
I'm looking at the earlier chat because there was some. I wish I could scroll up more, but it's just wordplay. I think for some reason Whitemon felt the need to say Oten, which is I don't want to translate any of this on stream, but anyone that gets it should know. They're just magsasara na SSOP. Something's closing. That I can translate. And something's closing out. And the good lucks.
Don't say it if it's inappropriate, damn it.
I won't translate
The
it.
battle
You won't know
begins.
any difference, so it's fine.
Alright. Top lane BHM gonna find the banner for himself. You know, you really are the worst translator, John.
I am. I'm.
Every time I ask you to translate something, you're just like, you know, my Filipino is not very good.
It isn't very good. It really isn't.
But you
Like, I
lived it,
swear.
John.
Yeah, but I swear I've had a situation where when I speak Filipino, people laugh at me. they actually laugh at me, and when I speak Filipino to them, they're like, they just reply in English. You know, they don't even try. They're like, just speak in
That's
English.
I'm sorry.
That's my life. That's my life. It is sad, but I'm fine, Mike.
The bot lane, you've got that, the POS 1 Ember essentially. Ben Hur, usually the mid player, is going to be in that safe lane now with RR.
Nothing.
Up against Cuckoo on the Nature's Prophet, so the off-lane Prophet is upon us. Pepper will indeed be there in the position for Pangolier. Top lane. Was Raven on that POS 1 Luna. BHM going to be up against him. Yaha will be there. Yaha's going to have a tough time here up against Wyman. You see the harass coming out of that Bane. It's kind of insane. And there's not really much you can do as a Mirana to contest Bane in lane, I'll tell you that. Unless you add the arrow, of course, then sure. But if there's no arrow being landed, Wyman's lane.
Yeah, and it's just so hard. Yaha's level 1 right clicks are just not up to Whitemon's level, so every single trade is just favoring the Bane. This is really hurting BHM. As you mentioned, he has no early presence, so Raven's just basically free farming right now.
It's a problem. Seeing what happens when Raven does tend to free farm. It looks like he has queued up the Helm of the Dominator as well on the Luna, so it's a very standard kind of build for Lunas right now. Going for that aura-based kind of build. Get the Alpha Wolf and you feel very, very nice about how much damage you're dealing. Of course, when you have the DK combo there as well, it always helps to give the DK that higher base damage as well. Just tends to start hitting those towers like an absolute truck. I think it's going to be very important for Palace in this Morphling to get an early Ethereal Blade if he really wants to burst down Carl, because they are going to need that magic damage.
Yeah. Gonna be key, and Palos, you know, he doesn't have to worry about building the Ags in this game, so he's gonna have the leeway for that. Is finding better farm, but it is a DK, you know, you're not exactly stopping Carl here. He's just gonna find his farm as well.
Big farm. The bot lane is probably where we might actually see most action. But Ben Hur, once he has the X up, can go for kills onto Cuckoo. Because you got the cold feet combo there as well, so you get the X, get the cold feet, X the back to a torrent, they're gonna get frozen as well. Therefore, shouldn't really be able to do much about it if that does occur. All he can really do is just swashbuckle and hope to disarm the people attacking his core. That's really it. One chasing Yaha down, does get arrowed up the top lane, now taking a hook stop and retaliate from BHM. He will nightmare up the center and just run. Well, the nightmare was taken off a bit late there by Yaha. Wyman really did want that kill. Very aggressive.
Yeah, but this is really keeping Yaha in check. It's not really shutting down Raven. I think as long as you give Raven that free lane on the Luna, I mean, it's a Luna. Once you have some levels up, you can really start clearing camps and flash farm fast.
That is very true. Especially once you do have that Helm of the Dominator up. Like, that's when it becomes kind of ridiculous how fast you can get through camps. BHM again, not really able to stop him yet. Every time he gets close, he's just taking some glaives to the face. Not very nice.
Just what I've been waiting for.
Even harder when you've got that Bane there. He will just put you in the nightmare every time you try to go for that retaliate onto the Luna. It's kind of a nice way to deter the retaliate in the first place, is just to nightmare the Centaur up every time. The duration of it.
Yeah, it's gonna be tricky for BHM, and it's so tricky that Yaha actually just leaves that lane. He knows he can't do anything in that trade, just opts to get some rotations out, and now Whitemod's setting up to just steal some runes.
Well, he's trying to harass BHM while this creep wave's being pulled. Gotta make a decision, do I want the creep wave, do I want the bounty? He will lose the creep wave, or half of it. First, it goes right to his T1 tower. Meanwhile, bot lane, however, Dooku does go down. He's going to be there for RR. That was the X-Torrent and Cold Feet combo I talked about.
Yeah, it's really straightforward for Execration to get that happening. It's one of the things with the NP. It has potent right clicks, but overall it's just a very static lane in terms of just farming up, and that does leave you vulnerable to these much more early power spikes from these dual lanes.
Carl's really trying to harass Carl out of this game. Carl has been farming very nicely on this Dragon Knight thus far. He'd love that Dragon Breath right now to try and take Talos out, but it is on cooldown. Now juggle his HP, although whoa, Zephyr comes in from the side, cancels the salve of Palos. While he is salveless now.
Regeneration.
Yaha will take the regen rune for himself. Palos probably would have enjoyed it, but he can't really afford to leave the lane. And bot lane again, Cuckoo's gonna die here. Ben-Hur this time picks up the kill. Meanwhile, top lane, BHM dies. Raven, committing the Eclipse very early on, does secure the kill for himself.
Yeah, it's again one of the risky things about going too far up against a Luna. Once you hit 6, Eclipse will just isolate you. You do see down mid, Zephyr was trying to TP down to help out Cuckoo, but he got arrowed up by Yaha, so they're just going to try to make a play on Palos. They did use all their stuns, so there's not much you can really do to stop the attribute shift, and looks like they're just going to have to give that one up.
That's fine though, because nobody's defending top tower. Like Raven, he just took down the Centaur.
Yeah.
He could probably happily just start forcing in that T1 with the Siege Free, because you know there's no rotations coming.
Yeah, and the beauty of this...
Turn around on Carl, but they're still trying.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
You'll find though, Palos will walk out.
Yeah, it's a more fun. You don't quite have enough to control. They actually do TP Cuckoo up top as well. They just want to melt that tier 1. And Raven's just hitting a bit too hard. They do rotate in though.
They do, and this is going to be great for Geek fam, because they're just going to back off. All these TPs being wasted from the side of Execration, feeling like they didn't need to defend that. Carl will kind of run it in. That is not great for Execration. Being forced to get out of that safe lane for Ben-Hur. This means Cuckoo and Zephyr now can freely push the bot lane. And look at Raven, he's here as well, he knows it. They're just dancing around the lanes, making it hard for Execration. From very early T1 push. In all fairness, Execration can't do the same because they haven't farmed as well.
Yeah, they don't have the option to do so. Maybe you have BHM tank a couple of hits, but he's not at the point where he can just cop it. So it's a bit riskier. And you do look at Raven, he's got the Dominator up, so his farm and his presence does get a huge boost when the aura is starting to build up.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
RR was spotted out.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, bot lane. Not going to be feeling too safe right now, just trapping the tree line and Raven. kill for himself. That'd be 2 for the Luna.
Dire's
They
top
did
tower
manage to
is
secure that tier 1 tower eventually. Not what you want, right? Because usually you want to try and push around that 10-11 minute mark for the tier 1s. Secure more CS if you are BHM and Ben-Hur. But you're forced into pushing that tier 1 tower early, and it took so long that you probably missed a wave or two. Now Ben-Hur, he's going to be forced to farm in a very dangerous kind of position, very far into that safe lane of the Dire. You look back over to that Raven Luna, he's sitting at 55 and 14 right now in CS and 4.2k net worth.
Yeah, it's gonna start to get out of control as he does start to level up the Moonglaives. Camps are not gonna be lasting too long. I mean, everyone else from Geek Fam is, you know, not doing too great. Bolt's farm has taken a bit of a hit, but as long as Raven finds this initial farm, you're really not gonna have an issue with how this is going out.
Do you think he's just going to go for the Ads build, as we've been seeing from a lot of Lunas? Because it feels like we see the Ads build constantly.
Yeah.
But now he's building into a Yasha.
I think it's going to be the more traditional Manta into maybe straight up a Satanic, or even a late Mask of Madness, perhaps even. You might see the SNY if Raven feels the need to be tankier, but more than likely just a Manta build up. So Hurricane Pike, actually, that's something Lunas tend to go for. The Manta and Hurricane Pike is probably the safest bet. Beyond that, it's fairly open. Really depends on what Raven needs to get done in the game.
You might not have as much value in that Hurricane Pike this game, though. Like, you are up against the Conquer with Air. Yeah, may not be worthwhile.
No, but I think you still need that mobility. There is, beyond just the X, I mean, you don't want to be caught out too badly. There are opportunities there for Execration, and the stats are just value. I think that's really the key thing with that item pickup.
Okay. Well, looks like Execration now going to try and force in this mid lane a bit. Carl is going to be there to try and defend on the DK. But he has not really done much chip damage to that tier 1 mid tower. Now has the Bay and now Ice Blast both all being put up in a nightmare dodge. Literally just whacking like a gun. They still find the kill, but now the Beatrix is there on Palos. And Palos is going to die. Ben-Hur trying to get away. He will play his way through the Sprout. But Whiteman, I mean, that DK should have really just blown up, but he dodged all the damage.
Yeah, it's a great save from Whiteman, and just forcing them to commit further for the DK did leave Palos vulnerable, so they trade away a much bigger hero. You are slowing down the farm of that Morphin. Palos is actually saving up for Lincoln's, although Raven gets X'd. He might try something. No.
Saying that much magic, he barely run away, but the Dragon's breath to do that from Carl. Now the Dragon's held out on the Morphling Palos. He's getting bonus stuff right now. They're still trying to defend this tier 1 mid, but the best they can do is deny that they didn't find that Cuckoo. He does secure the tower. Now Palos again, having to deal with the DK. We'll back off. Carl will give a final tip out to Palos as he leaves that mid lane.
Yeah, it's not all too bad for Execration. They do manage to find the kill on Raven, as he did overextend just a bit. They did get caught in the second Ice Blast, so a bit of a trade for Execration, finding that kill, but you're still not too happy losing that tier 1. This is exactly what Geek Fam wants. They have a draft that pushes. They just want to find these objectives, build an advantage, and Execration, though, hunting.
Brave, maybe a big kill. Ben-Hur going to throw the bow in. He did get stunned by that Centaur as well. They hit the arrow, but they got the Ice Blast bow, and that will be enough.
Sail for fail. Raven
was farming right underneath an Observer Ward at the time, and just such an easy pick off Execration.
Yeah, it's rather unfortunate, fam. Dropping your pause one twice like this is giving Execration a bit more. Ben-Hur is starting to catch up, close out that deficit, is right next to Raven now, so the farm advantage our Luna had kind of tapering off. Needs to just play safe in the jungle. There are some good stacks here by the Ancients, and looks like Whitemon will increase that, so gonna have a lot more here to clear out.
One K net worth thing will be remaining for Geek. Like Raven's still going to be trying to build into that Yasha. You do have the Spirit Vessel now out on Cuckoo though, so you've got a way to deal with that Morphling and Centaur. They're not going to be anywhere near as tanky as they once were. Now Whiteman smoking up, he does have the Fiend's Rip and Palos. Unlucky target, but it looks like they don't spot him out. Now he does show himself to the wave. This is not going to be great for Palos. He gets Fiend's Rip, he is guaranteed to die. Smoke breaks, he's trying to find a way through the tree line. Palos, Cuckoo coming in now to Cuckoo. He does sprint more. It may not matter though. They get the Fiend's Rip off. There is Smoke coming in. Stan picking up from BHF, but there's one time more. Ice Blast will be there on Whiteman. He will be happy to die though. A pause line for a pause 1, you trade that any day of the week. The rest of Execration are around, still trying to chase. Oh, Defa, no. No! The arrow connects as he TPs. And now the boat will fly in from Defa. How unlucky can you get? They do miss the boat, but he's going to be surrounded.
That's not the best, but Geek fam still gonna be very happy with the Morphling overall. It's still a fair trade for them. And since you drag all of the heroes out to find those kills, Raven just has free space in the jungle. So he finishes up his Yasha, he's saving up for a BKB next, just want to be able to stand and fight. And this is accelerating Raven's farm a fair bit. You know, it's giving him time to build up on that Luna, and that's not time that Palos is finding himself. He's just been under a lot of pressure, is falling a bit behind, has to try to play catch up, and again he's going for a defensive item first, and that Lincoln's will save him from the grip. You've got a lot of other spells to break that Lincoln's anyway.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Trying to go for a bounty and snatch is going to cost him. Nice kill out from Ben Hur. No wards were there, he just blindly TP'd in. That's a big kill coming out for Execration. Now they're going to head up towards that top. Zephyr is there up tier 2 tower, ready to try and defend this. They'll just take over that dying jungle. Stand stuff. I've got to say though, looking back at that Morphling, that Lincoln Spear build, while I do agree it's necessary, it does tend to really hold you back a bit as a morph.
Yeah, it limits your damage output, it limits your presence really. I mean, it's nice stats, but it's not quite the most value for that, so it's going to be down to just how much Palos can get from blocking one spell under multiple, and a nice scan does spot Geek Fam hanging around there.
Smoked up, ready to go. They are going to have the low ground, but they'll get up towards the high ground now with the Moonlight Shadow being popped. Wyman going to TP up, he'll be fine. Raven going to do the same, he'll also be fine.
Ooh, really good game plans coming out from Geek Fam, and they bail out at the perfect moment, so they don't lose Raven. That would have been the biggest kill for Execration, and this does mean the farm game continued. It's the slow build up towards the BKB. Palos continues to build into the Lincolns,
top tower
and everyone else just kind of slowly tries to bulk up. But look at Carl, he's going for a BKB as well, to be able to stand and contest Execration when they throw all their spells out, and I think that's really the way to go. When you've got great team fight, you've got great control, you might give yourselves that big fight advantage early on.
Yeah, I mean, the DK is unkillable when he's got that magic immunity. That's the thing, right? Like, while that BKB is active, nobody's touching the DK. Stampede out.
Invisibility.
It's going to allow Ben Hur to secure the Indus rune, I believe. Nothing really else to take. Nightmare out from Whiteman, just getting BHM, but he's going to be surrounded here, and this should be an easy kill out for Ben Hur. Yes, will be there. However, he does dodge the boat, and now Roll Thunder will allow him to get away. TP out of there. However, an arrow did connect on the Bane. Whiteman gonna be in trouble and will definitely die.
No. Yeah, it's Not the kill Execration was looking for, but they'll take it. Geek fam gonna be glad to just get Zephyr out there safe. And of course, since Execration rotate 4 heroes top, Geek fam have more opportunities to farm. You could argue that the same space is being given to Palos, but the farm of Raven is most definitely pulling far ahead. Just clears camps a lot faster. So he's just a recipe away from the BKB. About 1,000 gold away overall, and what's up? You look to Raven to maybe start joining these early fights.
Yeah, it's gonna be problematic. If these BKBs, Execration don't really have any team fight without these big ultis they have. Especially with that Morphling still trying to go for a Lincoln Spear, you just don't really have much right damage on Palos either.
No.
Now, smoke up from Geek fam. They have the Fiend's Rip back up on Whiten.
Going
straight into BHM. BHM, no, they wanted to the Roshan, but they might have to go and kill that Centaur first. Eclipse was popped by Raven, just taking the easy kill. They won't quite be able to Roach now, because it's very obvious. But I suppose the Centaur kill is still pretty darn good. They can go after a tier 1 now.
Yep. Opens up a little bit of a push for them. Same thing happens for Execration. They head down mid, so looks to be a 1-for-1 trade.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Fine.
Radiant's courier has been
Palos'
killed.
courier was left
Radiant's top
around this area. Have the Lincoln Spear recipe and we'll go down. Fight breaking up. Cuckoo can take an ice blast, but a Fiend's Rip is going to be there onto the pusher. He's slowly going down. So he catches him up with the Yules, and now the boat will fly out. Cuckoo does die. There will be no form of trade here for Geek fam. They are still trying to chase though. Zephyr, he's going to make the play onto Palos. No way to lock him down, however. Go Zephyr on. Arrow will be dodged. Now BHM may be too far forward. Raven does get the cut off that dominated tree. Charles will also jump in, and I pushed him in.
Okay, looks like Yaha does manage to leap away. The Rolling Thunder's out from Zephyr. They bump into Palos. He's already shifting his HP. Glimmer Cape's out as well. They have it bust. Palos still being chased down. Disarmed, stunned up. The right clicks are coming out. They have enough. Palos is gone. No problem, Mike. Beta game. Beta game. Beta game. Oh. Yeah. Yep. It's been consistent. At least it's been consistent that, well, we can almost kind of expect what happens after. Almost. Still? Yeah, the beauty of that entire fight as well is that Raven finished up the BKB, didn't use it, and they were fighting without Eclipse. So it's only a half minute left. Back up. That means the Roche is going to be really safe to take because by the time Execration run in, you will have Eclipse up. Oh, yeah, every time, like, if you disconnect and reconnect, yeah, I don't know why that cosmetic bug exists, but if you disconnect and reconnect, it happens on every hero. Now it's really just DK's model for whatever reason. And did you notice in the dragon form, his items actually float under him? Like, yeah, for me when I disconnect and reconnect, the DK mod, the base model doesn't have the armor. The dragon, it's mapped. The armor's mapped to the dragon, but it's just kind of T-posed. So it looks really. It's just me, but try to keep an eye for that. I think it's pretty interesting, and how that model specifically breaks. Valve probably just didn't hook it up properly with the item identification.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Spoil that shot.
Fear what you cannot see.
Fuck. Oh god. God. Hey. Hey, come on. Have you seen Southeast Asian cockroaches? That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. It's not that they're big, it's that they fly. They fly to your face. Yeah, we've got the flying roaches, so that's why. Oh, bastos. Bobo Kasepper. Lamau my ass. Bobo ya. They're just calling each other dumb. Titan Pepe Sepper. Oh, I can't translate that, I'm sorry. I can't. Titan Pepe Sepper. No, I can't. Well, it's inappropriate. You know how we are, Mike. We're inappropriate people. We live in an inappropriate country. We say inappropriate things as a friendly greeting. You understand it's an Australian. It's kind of the same. Yeah. I wonder how long it takes to kill that roach. It shouldn't be too hard. That is a much more complicated process, and not one I know Filipinos to do. I have to tell you, there you go, it's settled. Whatever it was, it's done. The deed is done. Oh.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Yeah, it's a worthwhile trade. Like Stampede for Fiend's Grip. I think even if that cooldown's a bit longer on your Bane, you don't have to worry about Stampede, and it does open up the map just a bit. You see Paulo is playing tag with Carl, but just pulls out. Joke. Just joking, bro. It's not a prank, Palos. Gotta be careful, bro.
Your hopes.
Oh. Yeah, it's a nice set of kills for Geek Fam. Just finding a couple of pickoffs here and slowly building up that lead. Still trying to get it up. 4K is a pretty nice start. You want that to be wider with this draft from Geek Fam. Execration, they're still finding space in Palace. He's building into the shotgun. So his damage will start to build up as soon as that item's up. And it's gonna take a bit of time, but it's definitely a worthwhile investment here.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's gonna be tricky for Palos to actually find the cores. I think maybe the only value beyond the damage, if you even get the damage out, is the disarm value. So you're gonna be stopping the Luna. I mean, it's just BKB time. This is really the big thing. And Geek Fam, smoke up. You're still feeling confident.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
The prize is
Precious
mine.
bounty.
The seeds of fortune.
It's they are. It's really good control from Geek Fam, and the Roche they go. We've got a lot of damage on Raven, and Cuckoo does have the medallion, so they can speed it up just a tad.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's courier has been killed.
Yeah, it's a really nice set of kills. An Execration, a bit early with a blast, not fast enough for the response. At first rush, so Geek Fam start to widen their lead to 7k. You did see Yaha kill off a couple of couriers, not the biggest deal, but Execration is starting to bleed more on the map. Oh.
I'll never bow.
The held winds tell you to rest. Pull roots and run.
Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, it's a
Radiant
Luna.
structures are
When you're this
fortified.
far ahead as a Luna, you just push that tower and oh, Carl. Smart. No, like smart internet. That's a literal company. Is the same. It's the same as a. It's the same but different. Jeez, who put Mamamadali ka ba? It's are you in a rush? 8-1 with hidden taps. Yeah, that I don't know. Inside jokes. Team combo meal. What? It's right there. It's just a vocalization. I can't. So I need to read for myself. Yeah, it's no rush, as mentioned earlier. There's no rush for Geek Fam. They could just wait out the Satanic if they really want to feel safe, but taking additional tier 2s does mean you can find more than one in the high ground, and that just lets you maximize that Aegis a bit more.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Oh no.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh.
You die.
Oh, Carl.
Leave to it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Feed the tree.
Yeah, perfect time to pull out. You've got tier 3 items to farm up as well. So just buffing themselves up with additional pickups here. And really well timed. They force the buybacks out. They just go for a reset. Maybe wait out that Eclipse cooldown on Raven. And once that's back up, you should feel confident to head back to the high ground. Oh. Oh. Oh, that is. That's really nice. Just a change. No. No. Oh yeah, it's gonna be really strong, and again, you probably still need to pop that Lincoln's at least on Palos, but it's not gonna be a hard job. That's just so hard to play against now for Execration. Oh, Raven.
Lie fallow in your grave.
Radiant are scanning.
I mean, they've taken the tier 3 open racks to just be easy to go in. Oh no.
Shadows, take us.
This one.
Yes.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen. Radiant's bottom barracks are under Radiant's bottom.
Ooh, no.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, Raven. Yeah, it's they know there's no buyback. They know they've got a massive opening here.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Monster kill. Wicked sick.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
You might have died peacefully if you had stayed in Night Silver, Narana.
Ooh, yeah, Geek fam showing up in their second series, winning that game one in a very dominant fashion. They just got all the lanes, they had really active supports, and, well, Execration got to shake it up for game number 2, but Geek fam looking in a lot better shape than they were in their first series.